Welcome to the Master Cars Pro channel. Today we'll talk about the problems and weaknesses of Volvo V70. Practicality has always been a Volvo state's strong point, which is what you'd expect from a country whose most notable furniture export often comes in a box. When you think of a used V70, you'd expect it to have decent load space and the rear seats that fall down flat, which they do. But it's also a classy state car to challenge the likes of the Audi A6, BMW 5 Series, and Mercedes E-Class, except that a similarly aged Volvo can be found for a lot less than any of this. Diesel powers most V70s that you can find on the used market. They were mainly offered over the years from a 113 bhp 1.6 liter drive model, the later renamed D2, 136 bhp 2.0 D3, and 163 bhp 2.4D, rebrand D4, and a 185 bhp D5 that was improved towards the end of its life to produce 212 bhp. Of the petrol models, the 2.5 liter turbo to 31 bhp is the most rounded and provides punchy performance. There's a rare to 38 bhp 3.2 liter 6-cylinder engine also used in the Land Rover Freelander 2. Other petrol engines were also on offer, including 180 bhp T4, 240 bhp T5, and a 285 bhp T6. Unfortunately, the ride is far from perfect, and even minor bumps, road scars will be felt by occupants. The V70 settles down a little bit at speed, though making it a depth motorway cruiser. Body roll is well controlled, although the WAG steering discourages you from driving enthusiastically. Occupants are treated to extremely comfortable seats, and the dashboard has a pleasing design, even if it's strewn with lots of small poorly marked buttons and has an awkward infotainment system with confusing menus. The interior is well built, though with no scratchy plastics to be seen. Cargo room isn't the best if you're loading up to the boot cover, but there's a flexible 40-20-40 split folding arrangement that does fold completely flat to help load longer items. The boot is well thought out too, with luggage nets and tie-down hooks to stop items rolling around while in transit. ES models come with alloys, electric windows all around, MP3 CD player, and dual zone climate control. SE spec adds leather upholstery, Bluetooth, and an upgraded stereo. SE looks at satellite navigation, rear parking sensors, and an electrically powered driver's seat. While our drive design cars get sportier internal and external trim. Pick the right model and running costs should be reasonable. Even the largest D5 engine does a respectable 43.5 mpg and 172 grams per kilometer CO2, 58.9 mpg and 126 grams per kilometer in later versions, while the economy-oriented drive model does 57.7 mpg and 129 grams per kilometer officially, at least. However, later D3 equipped cars do better than this, with an average of 68.9 mpg, 108 grams per kilometer. The T5 petrol engine claims an average of 34.9 mpg and 189 grams per kilometer, but many owners have been averaging less than that. As you'd expect, the larger T6 is even less efficient, with a claimed average of 27.7 mpg and 37 grams per kilometer. Even the entry-level T4 petrol isn't as efficient as the 30th diesel, with an average of 41.5 mpg and 157 grams per kilometer. Insurance costs are reasonable with all but the T5 engine in our design. Trim sitting in insurance groups 20 to 29. Pick a shorty sporty version, however, and you're looking at group 32. 33, diesels will be the least expensive to task, a few are even free, but most of the petrol sit in the highest band. Servicing costs aren't cheap, but go with a franchise dealer and you're unlikely to be disappointed. Volvo dealers have a good reputation for looking after customers. Turbochargers have also been known to fail. Blue smoke from the exhaust pipe on startup and a shortage of engine power are signs that you should walk away because it can cost more than £1,000 to fix. The indicator stock on the V70 has a button marked read. Pressing and holding it will display any faults that the car's onboard computer is aware of. A readout of 0 messages is good news, although it's not a substitute for a thorough inspection. Volvo is presently in the process of recalling around 70,000 cars in the UK fitted with 2-liter diesel engine over potential engine fires. There isn't a fix at the moment, so owners are being told to pay attention to any unusual smells coming into the interior. If the engine warning lights illuminates or if the engine hesitates under acceleration. On some examples built between 24 February 2011 and 2 February 2015 that have a manual gearbox and start-stop technology fitted, the parking brake may release without warning. This happens with the engine on and when the gear lever is moved, so it shouldn't occur when the car is left unattended. Any Volvo dealer will be able to tell you no if your car is affected and apply the updated software required to prevent this from happening if required. A software update is currently being sought to correct an issue with the fuel gauge showing the wrong level on vehicles constructed between 24 April 2014 and 11 December 2015. The current advice if your car is affected is to keep at the level about a third of a tank to ensure you don't run out of fuel and until a fix can be implemented. The fuel hose used in some models has been found to be cracked up from the inside, which could lead to a fuel leak if not fixed. This applies to cars built between 11 April 2015 and 30 March 2016, and a Volvo dealer will be able to tell you if your car is affected or not. A possible software issue on V70s built between 17 April 2015 and 18 February 2016 could cause electrical problems and the power steering system to stop working. There have also been other issues with examples made between 1st January 2007 and 31 December 2009 with the auxiliary drive belt that powers the power steering pump. It can fail and affect the power steering system. It's been identified that there could be a coolant leak during the warm-up process of some V70s built between 27 May 2010 and 17 April 2015 that could result in an engine fire in extreme circumstances. Check with a Volvo dealer to make sure your car isn't affected by this. For models 5 years or older, Volvo as a brand finished in 20th place out of 28 manufacturers included in our latest reliability survey, which isn't a particularly great result. Diesel examples of the Volvo V70 make the most sense because they deliver much more pulling power than the petrol models. If fuel economy is your main concern, it's worth checking out the drive-in models introduced in 2009, but we prefer the D5 engine in any of its forms because it has strong performance without crippling running costs. Petrol models are very rare, but of the various engines available, the 2.5-liter T5 is the most rounded. It'll be a lot more expensive to run than a diesel V70, so you'll need to budget for that. SE spec gets all the basics, plus the added benefit of leather upholstery, rear parking sensors, Bluetooth, and upgraded stereo. The sat-nav system on SE looks isn't very good, so isn't worth the premium. Our design cars get sportier internal and external styling along with the firmer suspension for better handling, but it still won't better BMW 5 Series in the Benz. If sporty handling isn't your primary concern, but a classy image and a nice interior is, the Audi A6 Avant could be an ideal alternative to a Volvo. There's a wider range of diesel engines on offer from frugal 4 cylinders with huge fuel range to turbocharged 6-cylinder offerings with 316 bhp. Then there's the BMW 5 Series, which has a much more desirable image than the V70, and it has a far better infotainment system. Plus, the 2013 cars are better because they come with a more reliable diesel engine. Well, if you are the owner of this car, then please describe the problems that you had to face during the operation of the car. Perhaps it is your feedback that'll help viewers when choosing a car. That's it for today. Thanks everyone for attention. It isn't much work for you to subscribe to the channel. See you soon.